Yes, they act.
Andy Sullivan from Blue Collar Corner. I'm here at the Humidor, which is a cigar shop in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. And the owner of this fine establishment is Angelo. Angelo, welcome to Blue Collar Corner.
Thank you very much. I'm not one owner. The second owner here, his name is Richie.
Okay, Angelo, how long have you been in business?
5 years.
And how has business been?
He's got his up and downs, and it's going up in smoke, which is one of the better part.
Okay, that's right up there with the bakery rolling in the dough. But honestly, Angelo, are you? Do you really find yourself kind of struggling at these very harsh economic times?
Of course we are, like we all are. And we could do something with the law as far as bringing the taxes down a little bit. We'll all be happier.
Do you feel that the regulations and the burdensome tax rates are just too much for like a small mom-and-pop business? I mean, if you look around even today, all of the small mom-and-pop businesses are gone. You know, it's very rare. We do have a little hardware store, you know, one right over here and one across the street. But right now everything is Home Depots and Lowe's and Starbucks and Fridays.
Of course we are. I mean, everybody's getting hurt, especially with the economy the way it is. And mom and pops, we all suffering.
How do you...
Go ahead. We need a lot of help.
How do you feel that the present administration is doing as far as leadership and maybe helping us get out of this economic glut we're in?
I think they should put more people to work. So some sort of put up bridges, schools, highways, and everybody go back to work.
So you're in favor of infrastructure?
Oh, yes, 100%.
What about entrepreneurship? What about the money from the free market, the inventors, the creators, the entrepreneurs, people like yourself?
I think they should give these people more money, just put more people to work, because these are the people who have the money to put people to work.
Okay, Angelo, thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to be traveling over here. Right here I have a friend of mine. His name is Joe. Joe's a personal trainer. Joe, welcome to Blue Collar Corner.
Thank you very much, Andy.
Joe, how's the personal training go? Has it dropped off due to the economy? Has it picked up? Have you felt it?
No, I really can't say that I've felt that things are going very well for me. I really have no complaints at all.
That's excellent. You are a rarity. How about you fellas? Anybody have anything to say about the present state of affairs? What's your name, sir?
Hey, how you doing? My name is Ron.
Hey, Ron. Pleasure to meet you. Welcome to Blue Collar Corner. How's things going on in your world?
Unfortunately, my world is pretty good because I'm in the military, so it doesn't seem like there's going to be any world peace breaking out anytime soon.
Well, listen, first off, I want to thank you for your service. God bless you and your family. I really appreciate that. What branch?
I'm in the Army.
Okay. Right now, are you on leave? Are you at the base over Fort Hamilton?
No, I'm in the National Guard, and I belong to a unit out in West Trenton, and I'm leaving for Afghanistan in March.
Well, our prayers are going to be with you, sir. It was very nice to meet you. Any thoughts about the present administration, about the... Please tell me.
Oh, my God, yes. The present administration does way too much. The federal government should not be intervening in the free market. I actually think if the federal government actually pulled itself out of the free market would take care of itself. With all of these bailouts and all the welfare and the warfare, because I'll be the first one to say it, it distorts the market, so people don't know where to invest. When it comes to the entrepreneurs, if people aren't saving, entrepreneurs need capital. Capital is in the form of savings in banks, but when people are being propagandized, if I don't know a certain word, I just make it up.
No, that's a good word.
But if people are being propagandized or they're being trained to constantly consume and spend, if they're not spending, then the banks don't have savings. If the banks don't have savings, then there's no capital for the entrepreneurs to dig into to borrow to start jobs. I actually think the federal government should do less by far. There shouldn't be
So you're a big believer less is more, as far as federal intervening is concerned?
Big time. There's too much government intervention right now. Way too much government intervention.
Okay, well, Obama has definitely grown the government about 30%. Right now, a lot of jobs that are private sector jobs now are actually surpassing, the federal jobs are surpassing in salaries, which I think is ludicrous.
Which is backwards. I mean, at one point, are more people going to be federal employees than private employees? At one point, the federal government shouldn't be the biggest employer, than where the taxes are going to come from. But at the same time, I don't think the federal government should be. I think we should get rid of federal taxes. I think we should get rid of the IRS. We should shrink the federal government. We should definitely downsize the Department of Defense.
Are you a Republican?
I am a libertarian.
Oh, okay. So you're way right.
Ron Paul, baby, 2012.
Are you really? Are you a supporter of Ron Paul?
Big time. And Ron Paul is, Ron Paul, and then my name is Ron. You ever notice Rons are always handsome people?
All the time. I don't know what it is.
You can take an ugly baby, name him Ron, boom, he's beautiful. Can you imagine? There's something magical about the name.
Okay, Handsome Ron brought up some wonderful points, and being a libertarian, I definitely agree with a lot of his beliefs. Anybody else?
Hold on a second. Okay. Buy gold and buy silver. Do yourselves a favor. I've been begging everyone, my friends and family, buy gold and silver. That's the best way to protect yourself.
Coming from Handsome Ron, the service guy. How about you, sir? What's your name? How are you?
Pleasure to meet you.
What's your name?
Birdo.
Berto, pleasure to meet you, sir. Well, what are your thoughts on the way the economy is going, the country's being run? How do you feel things are being handled today?
I have to agree with Ron and you, Andy. I think the federal government definitely has grown too excessively recently. I mean, there should be a regulation, but it should be modeled much like traffic. You need a couple of lights. You need some sort of regulation so that everybody could, flow.
That's a great analogy.
However, you can't have too many lights. You can't have too many double parked cars.
So you get gridlock.
Right, you're going to get choked up. So I could see you could have some sort of regulation to make sure everything is going in the right direction.
I'm going to steal the whole traffic analogy, by the way.
Not gonna. I mean, that's the way I see it. I think it's gone too far. You got.
Berto, what do you do?
I'm actually a civil servant for the MTA here in New York City.
Okay, so you work for the MTA. Oh, boy, here's a big question. Do you think something like the MTA should be privatized, or should it stay a city-run business?
It's actually a state-run operation.
Do you think if it was a private industry, would it be streamlined and actually make money? Because I'm staggered by the fact that something like the MTA cannot turn a profit.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not allowed to portray the company in a poor light. However, I do have my reservations about that place. As a private company, I don't think it would succeed. It used
like a Federal Express or UPS does, as compared to the post office.
Well, yeah, that's actually a pretty good analogy. Yes. However, it used to be private. If you remember years back, in what was it, in the 1950s?
Is that right? I wasn't aware of that.
Well, it used to be the IRT, BMT. They were privately owned companies that the state ended up taking over because just wasn't. They just didn't have the finances, I guess, to operate something as big as what we have. We by far have.
It was probably too big a project to take on it on a private level. How about you, sir? Any thoughts on the way the country is today? You hear a lot of people say that right now we're living through the death of the American dream. Do you believe that to be true?
In a way, but
Well, what's your name first, by the way? Anthony. Pleasure to meet you, Anthony.
I believe this government has issues. You have people out there that are starving. You have people out there that have college degrees that can't get jobs, and they're worried about big corporations instead of the little companies. So this government needs to take a look and see what makes the big company run. It's the little guys that put in their money and their time and work that make these big companies run.
That's a great point. The biggest drivers of the economy are the small businessmen, men like Angelo and his brethren.
You have issues with medical, health care, that you work in this country and you get sick and they do nothing for you, but yet they'll go to other countries and bring people in and repair them and send them back, and we support it. So I just think this government needs to look at everything, and I think it's a shame that you have people living on the streets that have college degrees that can't get jobs.
How do you feel about the Occupy Wall Street protesters? Do you feel that these guys had an actual cause, or was it just a bunch of kids getting together for...
I think they have a legitimate gripe, and I think they need more support behind them, and the government needs to look and see why they're fighting they're actually fighting for the average income people in a way.
Now, do you feel that maybe we've gone from this whole reward for failure and we punish you if you've been successful?
I think they took a lot away from the middle average income, and they punished us, where they give to the higher up, the big corporations, the people that make over $1 million a year, where they should take a step back and look again at the average income. Yes, I think they do punish us.
Okay, and if you had an opportunity now and someone gave you, say, a bank loan for a six-figure amount, would you take that money and put it in a business? Would you have enough faith in this nation and the shape it's in right now to start a business of your own?
I would put that money into something that's going to help the people that need a home, that need a job, and hopefully make it grow to something that will be successful, where you're taking people off the streets. That's what we need to do. We need to get people off of welfare. We need to get people off of that have nowhere to live off the streets, and do something for these people. Create jobs. There are streets out there that need to be cleaned up. There are roads that need to be fixed up. And our biggest problem is the unions not letting these people that have no job, that we pay unemployment to, do something, because again, they have to be in a union. So I believe this government needs to step up and look at everything.
Do you feel that the unions have been too much of an influence on the White House and the way he's been handling certain issues, like with Boeing? Boeing wanted to build in Washington State, and they weren't going to use union labor, so they gave them the boot. The National Labor Board's relations shut them down.
I think the unions are there to help, but they're fighting, I think, in that case, for the average person, where the government doesn't see it that way. No, I think we need the union, but I think it needs to be restructured so that everybody has a fair shot to make a living.
I agree. If there's one thing that I'd like to see, is that unions go from being a single party entity and to being a competitive party entity. Because when you have single party rule, I believe corruption and all of the awful things that go along with it will fester. This is Andy Sullivan from Blue Collar Corner. Oh, Ronnie's got something more to say. What else would you like to add, Ron?
Good questions. I was kind of hoping you can give me
You want another shot? Ronnie, we thought you did pretty good, but I'll give you another shot. You want a hot one? Okay, you're in the service. Let's see. What about the whole birth certificate issue with Obama? How'd you feel about that?
I really admired Trump for pushing that. I admire his courage. He puts out the birth certificate. Within hours, it's been proven to be a fake document. So, and they haven't readdressed that. So that I don't like.
How do you feel that the media is so blatantly hypocritical when it comes to liberals and libertarians or any conservative group?
Well, when it comes, it's so apparent when it comes to Ron Paul, because when Ron Paul is doing the debates, they give him no media time whatsoever. I think he did no exposure. I mean, I believe he was on CNBC, and it was an hour and a half long debate, and he got 89 seconds. That's wrong. So evidently the powers that be fear this individual. They fear the words that he can say. They fear his intellect, and they don't want they don't want mainstream media to be aware of this man.
Well, you know what? There's a lot of things I do agree with Ron Paul, but the one thing that terrifies me about Ron Paul is the way he would handle a case like Iran. You know, the way he wants to play like this isolationist. And I believe that's a dangerous path.
Well, believe it or not, I can speak on that. And actually, you should have been here before, because we were having a very big discussion on Iran. Ron Paul is not for isolation. He just doesn't want to meddle in other people's affair. He
define then you define for me isolationist.
Okay, an isolationist is if we don't recognize that country, and we would have no political ties, no political relations, no free trade whatsoever. That's not what he wants. So he wants political affairs to go, not affairs. He wants relations with Iran. He wants a dialogue with Iran. He wants to talk.
Yeah, but they don't want a dialogue with us.
That's not true. I mean, how do you know that?
Because Obama has extended the olive branch several times. Not only has he smacked it away, he's taken it and pretty much stuck it up his rear.
Well, how can you believe anything? Well, I can't say anything bad about Obama because I am in the military. But, okay, if someone keeps stabbing you in the back, you can't really take You can't trust what a person says. So if someone says one thing and then does another,
But you're talking. This is a world leader now who's Ahmadinejad is a world leader who has consistently called for the destruction of Israel and has consistently threatened the United States, especially when the Iranian people were trying to overthrow his regime. What was his first words? He was kind of, don't get involved. You get involved here, we're going to come after you. So he was threatening the United States right then and there. And he also...
really a threat to tell someone else not to get involved in my affairs, or you'll be sorry. Is that really a threat?
Well, do you as a member of the military, do you believe that we are the premier country when it comes to freedom and liberty and democracy in the world?
No.
Oh, you don't?
Absolutely not. We've been oppressing people, and we've been forcing our form of government and our way of life down people's throat who don't want it. I think we should...
Such as?
As the Middle East. So
Who? We forced it down their throat. How?
okay, Iraq does not want a democracy. I've been to Iraq.
Okay, tell us why.
Iraq does not want a democracy. They want a theocracy. For them to be ruled by man-made laws is very foreign to them. They're not Americans. They think completely different.
All laws are man-made,
No.
except God's.
Exactly. So they want God-made laws. They don't want man-made laws. So they don't want a democracy. They want a theocracy.
Okay, but once you get... That's a tyranny.
No. If that's what they want, then that's what they should be allowed to have. Who are we to force our form of government down anyone else's throat? We should not be oppressive. We should not be forcing our way of life on anyone else.
So you're okay with the fact that he's slaughtering hundreds of thousands of his own people?
Who?
Saddam Hussein.
So you're talking
killed-
about killing.
he killed-
You're talking about killing.
I'm talking about both. No, I'm talking about both. I'm talking about Saddam Hussein was responsible for killing hundreds of thousands of Kurds and hundreds of thousands of Iranians. Do we play the isolationist role, sit back and don't do anything? Or do we see these people who want to live and who maybe want a little bit of liberty and freedom and say, let's help them out?
We should mind our own business. We should not be...
So we should ignore that genocide that's taken place.
Well, we shouldn't stop it either. We shouldn't stop people.
So you're saying we should ignore it?
Allow me to finish. Don't treat me like Ron Paul, like CNBC did to Ron Paul. That's not nice, Andy.
You're much better looking than Ron Paul.
I'm much like him than most people. If anyone in the United States wanted to go to Iraq to prevent it or to stop it, then we shouldn't say no. We shouldn't prevent them. But the President of the United States, he should not be involved in another country. He's not the Emperor of Earth. He's the President of the United States. He should be worried about... This is very unfashionable for me to say, but the President of the United States should only worry about America and Americans. He shouldn't be worried about another country.
So how do you feel about Libya now?
How do I feel about...
Yeah, Libya. I mean, what we did with Libya. What we did with Afghanistan.
We should not have been involved in Libya. We should not have bombed Libya at all. That's unconstitutional about Libya. I'm very disappointed in our government doing that.
Well, he violated the Powers Act.
Yes, right. So we shouldn't have been involved in Libya. We should not be involved in Syria. We shouldn't be involved in Iran. We should be...
So we should let Assad from Syria just keep on slaughtering his own people. Right in it.
The people should be rising up. See, now, the thing...
We shouldn't help.
But we shouldn't hinder help either. If Americans want to go there to help, then we shouldn't hinder them. But
Who would go there other than the military? I don't know anybody that would get up and say, "Hey guys, let's go. We're going to go to Syria and help these guys."
There's things called NGOs, non-government organizations that do help like that.
Yeah, but the kind of help they do is food and medical care. They don't.
They do more than that.
Like, oh yeah, tell us about them.
They do. They do more than that.
Like
They teach people points of law, and they get involved politically, even though it's a non-political and it's a non-government organization.
Yeah, but we're beyond political nature. We're talking about guys with guns. We're talking about guys with guns now. You can't fight guns.
So that's curious. So why should American sons and daughters, why should their lives be put on the line in order to save other people's sons and daughters?
It's not just other sons and daughters. It's liberty and freedom.
Okay, so I'm a bully. So as a soldier, should I be a bully for liberty?
I don't know. You're the soldier. You tell me.
I shouldn't. So we should not be involved. See,
So you're going to Iraq, right?
No.
Where are you going?
Let me finish that last statement. So as a soldier for the United States Army, is it right for me to be a democracy bully. So I should be the democracy tough guy. So I should force liberty and safety upon other people that don't ask for it. That's not right. That's oppressionism. So I went to Iraq thinking that
I don't know how you oppress somebody with freedom and liberty, but tell me.
you can. To force someone into that situation is oppressiveness. So if we're going to force democracy, so we're going to make the situation safe, we're going to force democracy down their throat, that is being oppressive. So if they don't know how to govern themselves through democracy and they want a theocracy, then who are we to say that they
So you're telling me our natural innate being of being free and being able to do what we want to do doesn't occur in Iraq? They want to be ruled over. They want to be tyrannized. They want to be told what to do, where to go, what time?
Whether they do or don't, that's none of our business. We shouldn't.
Even if they reach out to us and say, we want your help?
Did they reach out to us?
I don't know. You tell me. You're the military.
I don't know if they.
I'm just a reporter.
I don't know if they ever reached out to us. None that I know of. I mean, I believe we were in Iraq because someone said there was weapons of mass destruction, which was a lie.
You see, there's where you're wrong. It wasn't a lie. It was wrong information. All right, your opinion, it was a lie. My opinion was they were going on information that was based on the UK, Israel, America, France. You know, you forget, even the most liberal of people from this country voted.
The CIA found that information. They presented it to our government, knowing that it was bad information, and our government ran with it.
It wasn't only the CIA. You're talking about a half a dozen intelligence agencies from all around the world. And their conclusion was that
weapons of mass destruction in Iraq hurt the United States. Like, how does weapons of mass destruction, how does that threaten the United States?
Anthrax wouldn't threaten the United States if a world leader has gotten his hands on a dirty bomb and brings it here.
So we should go to war with
Do you remember 9/11? I mean, you know, 9/11 was a terrorist act. No.
Well, what does 9/11 have to do with Iraq?
You're talking about
How many Iraqis were in the planes that went into 9/11? I believe they were all Saudi Arabia.
and you're correct. But when you're talking about a regime,
Why should we attack Iraq?
so we should wait. We should wait till we're attacked.
So you're saying first that we should save those people through liberty, through freedom, but yet you're throwing 9/11 into the mix.
Of course, I have to throw 9/11 in. It's a wake-up call. We think we're the big guy.
Call to what the political elite are doing in the Middle East. It's a wake-up call to what the political elite, not the men and not the average American like us. Not well.
What do you mean, like you? You joined. Yeah, you could talk.
Right now? Why did we attack Afghanistan when all of the hijackers came from Saudi Arabia? What did one have to do with the other?
Because Afghanistan was the training camp where Al Qaeda and Taliban were training to kill it.
The money came from Saudi Arabia. Any idiot can figure that out.
Yeah, but all the training camps were in Afghanistan.
We bombed the training camps, and we bombed.
Right.
So then why attack Iraq? You're trying to say that? Are you really saying that?
I'm asking you. You joined the military. Why did you join the military?
You're trying to say,
Why did you join the military?
say that the American military should be used.
I never said the military should be. No, I'm not.
You're saying that the American military should be used to force other countries.
I never said that. Never said that. I never said that.
Not be involved.
I said, should America, the only free country, as far as I'm concerned, on the planet.
We're free. When did we become free?
Well, gradually, we're losing our freedom each and every day.
Like with the Occupy Wall Street, they are exercising their constitutional right. Yet
No, they're going beyond. They're invading on other people's rights. So they're not. At one point, yeah, they're disrupting business. I've been down there. I've interviewed them. There are a bunch of high kids. They had to build a rape tent because women are getting raped. They got people pissing and shitting in the streets. That to me is not a right.
Well, that's not. It is a right to gather.
Of course it's a right to gather, but not to set up a tent on private property and live there and defecate there and rape women and beat people and rob from people and use drugs. That's the right?
That's not why they're there. They're not specifically going there to use.
How do you know that? There is a whole entire thing. Bill Ayers is doing. Bill Ayers. Yeah, exactly. This is a country.
Just so this way they can do drugs and rape.
No, we're creating chaos, and that's what this president administration wants.
Wow. You think this is a coup for the administration?
It's not a coup. Bill Ayers is doing seminars on how to do this, how to create chaos, how to cause problems, how to disrupt American life. This is something that's been documented. This is something he advertises, Bill Ayers.
So this is anarchy.
Absolutely.
Good, because I'm an anarchist.
Okay. Now, why would an anarchist join the military?
Yeah, it seems contradictory, doesn't it?
Totally.
It seems contradictory, but it doesn't really.
Still does to me.
No, it's not contradictory. I think we should question the government. It's right to question.
Absolutely, but why'd you join the military if you have all these questions and misgivings and all these things against it?
Well, I did join the military because I did believe the propaganda about Iraq. So I went to Iraq. And those people didn't have anything to do with anything. However, I heard how bad the Afghani people were. So I went to Afghanistan. And believe it or not, the Afghani people had nothing to do whatsoever about 9/11. But I heard how bad the Pakistani people are. And it's like, at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm chasing a ghost. We should not be involved in these countries whatsoever.
So why are you?
Why am I what?
Why are you going? Why are you there? Why are you involved?
Because I took what's called an oath. So I promised the government, I promised the army that I would go. But I'm not going there to force them. I'm going there to save lives. I'm not going there to take lives. I'm not going there to force anything on anyone.
So you're going to help and save people, right?
My people.
So you're only going there to save your fellow officer?
My fellow soldiers, yes.
So if an Iraqi needs help or assistance, you're not going to save them?
Well, I have in the past.
But you won't do that in the future?
Well, you're very good. You should be working for CNBC because you twist everything that I say.
I'm not twisting nothing. I'm just going by what you say.
You're twisting everything.
I'm not twisting. I'm just giving it a little bit more of an angle.
NBC, or do you work for NBC? Or...
I work for Andy. Andy.
No way. Because you're twisting everything that I'm saying.
I haven't twisted one thing, sir. Ron, I respect everything you do.
You're distorting everything that I'm saying.
I'm just opening it.
So I have soldiers that rely on me. So I answered your question because I want to save my soldiers' lives. You turned around and said, "But if this happens."
Why, I can't ask you a question? You just opened yourself up to an interview. And then you say you could only ask about this, but I can't ask about that.
You can, but you...
It's not twisting. I'm asking a question. I'm asking a question.
You made it seem like because I want to save my fellow soldiers' lives that I wouldn't save anyone else's life.
I asked you that.
I'm curious. How many lives have you saved?
I actually saved one life.
I've saved several, and both of them.
And God bless you.
I've saved several lives. I've saved children's lives. So I don't have to be questioned about whether or not I'm going to step up to the plate and help another human being.
All right, so I can't ask you those questions.
Whatever you like, but I am.
You just told me, yeah, I can't ask you those questions. We got it on tape.
But I am saying that you're distorting everything that I'm saying.
I'm not. I'm just giving it another dimension to it.
Well, if you want to play devil's advocate, knock yourself.
I have to. That's what I am. That's what I do.
Just do.
Anything else you'd like to add?
No, ask me another question. This is excellent.
No, I was just curious why you're in the military. You said to save lives.
To answer that question, he's in the military because if it's not people like this gentleman that's sitting right here that will defend this country because the belief that he believes in his government and his government's not betraying him and leading him to something that's not real, if it's not people like him and several hundred people like him, America would not be America. So
I agree.
And if Washington can't get their act together, if they can't become bipartisan and put their differences aside, if they can't get a budget together, how are they going to get a military together to fight for something that's real?
I agree.
When they can't figure
I agree.
out
Well, it's been 3 years and we still haven't had a budget.
So the way I feel is that we're probably there for a good cause, but at the end of the day, they got to give the military a reason to be there, not a phantom of why we're there. And I know it's years and years later, but it comes down to that the military people are doing what they're supposed to do. Unfortunately, it's no different than MacArthur and Patton. They had different views than Washington did, and they didn't go nowhere either. So at the end of the day, the military is doing their job. But I'm sure along the way, they get confused. What is our job? What are we here to do? Who are we here to fight? People with turbans on, people with no turbans on, people that have children, the bombs, or women with bombs. Who are we here to fight?
I agree.
So give them a cause to fight, and they'll get it done, just like World War II and just like World War I.
Yeah, but we're not fighting those type of wars anymore. There's a whole different animal we're fighting. We're fighting a shadow enemy.
Well, then, you know what? Then Washington should definitely do their homework a little better before they put soldiers and people in harm's way
I agree. I think the only thing intelligent that came out of Joe Biden's mouth was to instead of taking huge amounts, hundreds of thousands of troops, and sending them away from home, it should have been reduced to like teams, black op teams. And if we need to take out a group of people, take them out. If we need to take out a despot, then take them out. But to actually take 30, 50, 70, 80, 100,000 troops, send them to Middle East, I'm really not a supporter of that.
Well, I think that would happen after Kennedy.
You said it was good for the military to go to Iraq because Saddam Hussein was killing all these people.
I said it was good to take out Saddam Hussein because he was a murderous despot.
We shouldn't have been involved militarily. We shouldn't have been involved.
I think that.
I didn't say it was the best way. I didn't say it was the best way. I said it was I said the end result was a result I was happy
The only
with.
thing I would like to say at the end to end all this is that after John F. Kennedy, we learned that you just don't go and assassinate heads of states.
Bay of Pigs reference.
Right. So what it all comes down to is that the American government should do their job properly before they start sending troops in to do their job.
10-4. And thank you. What's that?
I come from a long line of military service.
God bless you.
How many soldiers do you know consider themselves to be anarchists?
No, I never had that conversation with anyone, so I don't know. I should?
Yeah.
Wait, so as a soldier, I should know if another soldier is an anarchist?
You should ask your fellow soldiers.
Why is that? Why?
Because a lot of them would not want to be considered anarchists.
Why?
That's not why you joined the service.
Okay, but that's their reason to join. That's their business. I shouldn't be involved. But you don't know why I joined. So I can't be an anarchist to serve my country.
No.
So I can't be an anarchist to serve my country.
To answer your question.
Okay.
Okay, an anarchist wants to abolish the government that he comes from. You served in the military for the government that you come from.
Obviously he does. But obviously he needs a cause of why he's doing what he's doing.
But it's not anarchy.
Okay, well, listen, we're gonna wrap it up here. Blue Collar Corner. Things are getting a little hot. Angelo smoking his second cigar. Andy Sullivan signing off. Blue Collar Corner.
God bless.